Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. So as you guys may know, we're going to be getting the epic charms at the upcoming reset, and now it is important to prioritize and begin thinking about which of the key heroes you want to get epic charms for first. Now as always, we're going to begin by talking about the charm merchant available heroes. Any hero which has been released in this season, which are these 5 as listed here. They are purchasable with gold, small amount of gold, getting you their charms. So make sure as soon as you log in after the reset, you get these 5 heroes charms so that you don't by mistake end up crafting them and wasting your resources. Gwyneth, dominating Dream Realm, especially a Lucia boss, and then you have Lamentis Peggy, the core summoner duo who are doing very well for Doom Scourge and potentially some other bosses. Sulfura is mainly for AFK stages, Kazim for like Legend Trial Tower, the Mauler Tower. But all are going to be important. Get their charms definitely from the charm merchant. Okay, now we have labeled it by the different classes, broken it down, and we've begin with what we're going to be getting tomorrow. At the upcoming reset, we're going to get support and warrior as the initial 2 classes, so that's why we have them in order. We're going to lead off with the supports. As you guys see, the most heroes are going to be in the support class that are priorities for you to be getting, but the major ones are going to be towards the left side here. So twins, definitely most meta Dream Realm hero since their release. Very important to get their charms upgraded because they use them basically every Dream Realm boss team. You're also going to be using them in AFK stages, so like you get a lot of value out of the twins charms. After that, we put contest because contest is also seeing a big amount of usage in Dream Realm, even having AFK stage usage if you have her built. And the thing is, as we're moving into endless difficulty, which will be happening in phase 2, you're going to see more of a rise of contest dominating potentially maybe up to all of the bosses later on in the season. And so contest charms, major priority. Valar and Celeste, I'm going to talk about them together because they both have a Dream Realm and AFK stage usage. Both of them are used quite frequently in both of the game modes. By giving them their charms, not only do you improve their charm quality bonus effect, but also you give them more stats, and the attack buff they provide to allies is based on their own initial stats, and that's why it's a major priority to be getting Valar and Celeste charms. But after this, Eevee has really risen up this phase 1 of this season. You guys are seeing her in multiple Dream Realm boss top teams for her defense shred, magic defense shred, but also equally her attack buff that she provides to 2 hardest hitting damage dealers on your team. So Eevee is going to be important to get charms as soon as you can, and then Rainier as well. Rainier is going to be falling off a bit. We're approaching endless difficulty, and that is when Rainier begins to fall off each and every season. However, we still do have a couple more weeks before we fully make it into endless, and so Rainier is definitely going to see usage up until then. So getting his charms will be big, and also for like the guild supremacy glyph shade boss, when we have that challenge phase, Rainier is currently being used in top teams for that. So that's also a reason to be getting those charms. Then after that, we have other heroes here. We have Hugin. Not that much Dream Realm usage as of right now. He could have more in the phase 2, but also AFK stage usage, so getting his charms will be important. Smokey, Pandora, these are both endless damage dealers. As of right now, they're not seeing usage in Dream Realm, but like we said, when we move into endless difficulty, it's very likely they are going to see some usage, and so I do have them here as later on priorities for you. Rowan I have here for if you ever use them in AFK stages. Obviously, he's not really going to be using Dream Realm pretty much. Ludwig is a hero which really is not able to keep up with other HP loss damage dealers. However, you never know when he sometimes is going to be used in one occasional boss or some budget team, and that's why I do have him here for, of course, when we make it to endless. And then we have Coco. Coco I'll put here just for various other game modes. She is using a really budget team for Lady Starfallen, so if you're using her there, that's one consideration. Apart from that, it's just like, you know, using Coco to help your team survive when you're limited on options. So that's why I have Coco charms right at the end here, not a major priority. Okay, moving on to the warrior class. Warriors, they're just going to be a few major targets, which are Himmel to power up when he's being used along with Frieren in a comp for Dream Realm. It happens quite a lot because Frieren is one of the best damage dealers, and as we move into endless difficulty, she's only going to become better with her HP loss damage. And Himmel also, he has his Supreme Plus skill, which is kind of like a mini contest debuff, causing the enemy target to take increased HP loss damage. So Himmel is definitely going to have Dream Realm usage throughout this phase, and definitely phase 3 as well. Floribel is a hero who is using summoner comps, mainly Doom Scourge as of right now. However, it could be even more than that depending on how Lamentis is actually going to show up. But yeah, she's going to be a priority after Himmel. Kruger is just using various different Dream Realm bosses. His charms are not as important, but it can just min-max your score a bit. Baleran as of right now not being used in Dream Realm, but when we make it into Endless, like we said, he's probably going to have some usage in some teams. Also, if you're ever going to use him in AFK stages, then you should get his charms, so that's why he's a priority. Corridon is a hero which, as of right now, not used that much for Dream Realm. However, for Glyphshade Guild Supremacy boss, he is being used in some of the top teams, and so there's value there, and potentially he may make somewhat of a comeback, or at least have some usage this phase in Sarathiel. That is a boss that is kind of good for him, but like, yeah, probably not, honestly, because Gwyneth is just kind of stealing the show from everyone, as well as other different options. So then we have Velka, who is also a hero, which is kind of like, reminds me of Ludovic. At one point in time, they were good enough to be used in Dream Realm, some budget teams, and even some mid-level teams, but now probably not. But I've just kept her here in case, like, you just want another hero, or you can focus on your PvP heroes after this as well. That's the other thing. This tier list and priority guide is mainly for PvE content, because that's the most important pressing topic, like to allow you to rank high and push AFK stages harder. But for PvP specifically, that's based on which heroes you're using, right? Okay, moving on to the tank. The tank, number one, we have Gunner, because Gunner is seeing a lot of usage in Dream Realm right now, but we are in pre-endless. It probably is going to fall off just like Rainier when we make it into the endless difficulty, but for right now he is having the usage. Also AFK stages, he's a beast, so getting his charms would be a major priority. All Night Charms also going to be a big priority for AFK stages only. Also PvP, of course, as well, but we're talking about PvE. So AFK stage for All Night if you have All Night built. Thorin Charms for King Croker Dream Realm boss. That's basically it. That's the only reason he's up here. Damon, if you happen to be using him in any Dream Realm boss, or like Gloommaw Dream Realm boss. As of right now, he's not in the top pay to win teams, I'm pretty sure. However, in more budget teams, you might maybe using Damon, so his charms can be good. Theodore for AFK stages, as simple as that, nothing more. Oh, actually, Theodore has some Dream Realm usage as well in some budget teams. So that is the other thing that we have to consider. So yeah, Theodore may have even a higher priority compared to some of these Daemon, if you don't use Daemon, but you do use Theodore in Dream Realm. And then we have Callan. I've just put Callan here for, if you want to bring him out for like the stellar ascent that we keep having, just getting his charms. Also for PvP is great. Obviously this is not as much of a PvE pick. However, overall solid hero, kind of like Coco, in that regard. And so just getting the charms is going to get you some value. Okay, moving on to the mages. So these, over here we have the top damage dealer for Dream Realm, but I'm gonna say endless, but also pre-endless. She's like arguably one of the top damage dealers as well, apart from Gwyneth. So Frieren is a major priority to get her charms. She's probably going to be, with the universal essence we get usually on day one after the reset, I'm probably going to recommend Frieren. It depends on who's actually going to be the damage dealer for the Dream On boss tomorrow. But if Frieren is being used, then definitely, yeah, Frieren is just a no-brainer, prioritizing her charms. She's one of the biggest mage priorities. But after that, I put Galahad, because Galahad is seeing some usage by buffing your artifact, like breakthrough spell. And also when we make it into endless difficulty, of course, she's going to have great HP loss damage, so you will be expecting to see a lot more of Galahad as this phase progresses. Aurora is a hero which is using Doomscore Dream on boss. Apart from that, she may be using other cons involving Peggy or Lamentis, but that is obviously more of a niche player base compared, like most people don't have Lamentis. But yeah, getting Aurora Charms for Doomscourge at a minimum is going to be a major priority. Mehira for AFK stages, even if she's like one copy, probably you still want to pick up her charms if you're using her. So yeah, Mehira for AFK stages. Siren, if you're using him in AFK stages, that's why I've kept him here. Obviously, Siren is never used in Dream Realm. He is a PvP hero, and he's good at that, so like that's another angle, but we're mainly talking PvE in this list, so you can do that for AFK stages if you're using him. Shimira for if you're using her at all. Again, some Glyphshade Guild Supremacy boss teams, if you maybe don't have all the latest options, you may be running a Shmira team, but other than that, Shmira is not really used that much. There's only one boss who actually, like, I think, is it a Midnight Harv? Is it a Midnight Harvester? There's one boss, I think it is. There's one boss where Shamier is actually semi-decent, but most bosses she's been completely power crap. But yeah, Shamier is a consideration. Cassidy, probably not going to see much more of Cassidy, but we did see her in Titan Reaver and things like that. That's why I did want to include her here on this priority guide right at the end. Okay, moving on to the rogue heroes, we have Saida for AFK stages. If you have Saida built, getting her charms is going to be a priority. If you have one copy of Saida and you want to use like a synergy, getting her charms also will apply to that synergy hero you get. So yeah, but really the thing about rogues is there's just not that many rogue heroes left that like or major priorities that like, you know, you can just really go for your AFK stage heroes, because like Ravion, sometimes some Dream Realm usage, but usually not in the top teams. But for that, I did keep him here as a second pick. Also, he's great in PvP. Pheromore, if you're using him in AFK stages at all, or if you ever do use him in Dream Realm, although he's usually not in top teams for Dream Realm anymore. Shadewing, if you ever use him in Dream Realm, kind of some of the budget teams or even the Midnight Harvester team. Shadewing was being used, so yeah, getting his charms can be good if it is a top team for you. And then finally, Iron for AFK stages. His charms are not that important. Other heroes for AFK stages are way more important to get charms of first and foremost, but if you do happen to have some resources, you can get Iron charms as well. Okay, guys, we are almost done here. We just have the Marksman to go. So Marksman, I put Alicent first, just in basically in preparation for probably we're gonna see Alicent when we break into Endless, because this is how it was in the previous season. I don't know. It could be that maybe Frieren and you know the other heroes, Gwyneth and other things that we have now may just remove Alicent from the meta, but most likely you are gonna see Alicent somewhat in phase 2. That really is the phase where Alicent shined in the previous season. So that's why I'm putting Alicent number 1 charms. Leica charms because she's in Doom Scourge or any summoning related team you're going to be using her in. However, the thing with Leica is she doesn't need her charms that much because her own damage from herself is quite low. She's mainly a buffer. Sylvan is a hero which not really used in Dream Realm anymore in top teams, apart from like Lady Starfall in one of the top team options. For that, it will be good to get his charms. But for AFK stages, more importantly, getting the Sylvan charms can be a priority. You can even prioritize Sylvan over Leica. Probably would make more sense to have Sylvan before Leica. I think that was maybe a bit of an off positioning, but yeah, this is just really to show you that all 3 of these heroes can be somewhat important. It depends how much you're using them. Kulo is a hero for AFK stages. If you do use her, especially if you have her built, but even if you have her low copies, you can pick up her charms. Why not? Just to help out a bit. Nazarick is a hero at plus 10 exclusive equipment. He is seeing some Dream Realm usage in some of the top teams for a couple of Dream Realm bosses, and that's why I have put him here. But probably when we make it into Endless, he's going to disappear. That's always what Nazarick does when you make it into Endless. Zany is a hero which not really the greatest option, even on the Summoner squads, but for some budget, like even today in Doom Scourge, one of the more budget free-to-play friendly teams, it is using Zany if you don't have Leica and things. And it's decent, so getting Zany Charms is going to be solid for you, but not necessarily game-changing. And then we have finally Bonnie for Marksman. Bonnie is not really used in Dream Realm other than ultra free-to-play, like returning players, budget team comps for Dream Realm. For AFK stages, she's hardly used, at least personally. However, there are sometimes those occasional stages where she does make a debut. But yeah, overall, Bonnie not too important, but overall solid also for PvP. So just gonna give you value by getting her charms. And guys, that is it for all of the heroes, the key heroes that you want to be prioritizing for your charms, sorted by the different classes. Hopefully this is helpful and it does allow you to make the optimal decisions in the upcoming, when we sweep the Dura trials, we have our resources, how to actually allocate it. But as always, you can always wait for my Dream Realm video of the day where I will tell you which charms and actually demonstrate and show it to you which charms I chose to craft, which I think are optimal, because of course it will depend on that individual Dream Realm day what are the most important heroes for that day specifically. But this list is really giving you the top priorities in each of the classes, and you can't go wrong if you follow this. So hopefully this is helpful. If you have any other heroes that you would like to talk about, you can feel free to discuss that in the comment section. That's always interesting to hear about. Could be that I did maybe miss something. I don't think I did. I did double check a couple times, but you guys feel free to let me know if there is something to point out. Thank you guys all so much for watching. That is gonna be it for this video. And if you're thinking about making a purchase in AFK Journey, please use my affiliate link for the official Farlight store. This is the best way you can support me and also gain 5% bonus dragon crystals on your purchase. My affiliate link is in the description of this video in a pinned comment, and you can actually bookmark this link in your browser, and whenever you're planning to make a purchase, just return to the bookmark link and make a purchase. It will support me and be greatly appreciated. So thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video, and until then, everyone, peace out for now.